this is our second lesson on solving trig equations. Okay, so if you remember, the last lesson we looked at was solving equations that had a trig term, sine, cos or tan included. And what I said then was that for these problems, there are multiple answers. Okay, last lesson we only looked at finding the first one. Today we're looking at then adding on a step to the end of that calculation to figure out our second answer. Okay, so what we're going to do is that I'm just going to work through the same examples as we did yesterday, but I'm going to show you how to find that second answer. So our example 1, solve 6 sine x minus 2 equals 1, and then just very quickly, it is the same as we did yesterday. 6 sine x equals 3, sine x equals 0.5 or a half, x equals sine negative 1, 0.5, which gives us 30 degrees. Now, this is only answer 1, okay? So answer 1 equals 30 degrees, okay? What we're now going to do is we're going to look at a little table, okay? So to find answer 2, we are going to say that if we're looking at sine, then we do 180 minus answer. Okay, that answer key on your calculator is going to come in handy here. Okay, so always just hit minus and then the answer key on your calculator is going to solve it for you. Okay, if we were looking at tan, then it is 180 plus answer. And again, answer key in the calculator. Okay, and finally for cosine, do 360 minus answer. Okay, now there are various different memory aids and tricks and flicks that you can have to help you remember these. However, for the time being, I'm just going to present you with this little table. Okay, so sine 180 minus answer, tan 180 plus your answer, cos 360 minus answer. Okay, now because in this particular example here we've looked at a sine problem, then answer 1 is 30 degrees, and so we're going to say that our answers for x are 30 degrees and also 180 minus 30. And so our final answer, 30 degrees and 150 degrees. Okay, and if you think, just very briefly, about how a sine graph looks, what that means is that for this sine equals a half, there are my two answers there. Okay, so you can see that that half cuts through 2 points. That one would be 30, that one would be 150. Okay, if we have a look again, same example as the last lesson, this time we'll look at cos. So for our second example, we had solve 5 cos x minus 45 minus 2 equals 0. And what that allowed us to do was say that 5 cos x minus 45 equals 2. So cos equals 0.4. Now, what we now need to look at is say, well, x minus 45 equals the inverse cos of 0.4. Okay. Now, because we've still got this minus 45 to do, that needs to wait. Okay. This whole process of finding the second answer is part of this inverse that we're doing here. So what that's going to give us is 66.4218, and then it carried on for a bit. Okay. What we need to think about here is say, well, because we're dealing with cos, we're going to do 360 minus that answer. So our two possible answers are this 66.42, etc., and 360 minus 66.4218. Run out of space, but we'll manage. Okay, and then all we're looking to do here is this is the point at which we're going to do that 360 minus the 66.4218. So grab the calculator, 360 minus, in this case I'm just going to type it in. Use your answer key if you can. That gives us 293.5782. Now we can say, well, that's all well and good, but this is with a minus 45. So we need x. We just need to add 45 to both of these cases, like we did in that example yesterday. It's just that we're now doing it to both answers. So that gives us our 111.4218 that we saw yesterday, and also 338.5782. And now we can look at rounding these, and again I'm just going to go one decimal place just to keep things simple. 111.4 degrees and 338.6 degrees. Okay, but what you're really looking for here, this table at the top, okay? So to find your second answer, for sine 180 minus, and then use your answer key. For tan 180 plus, use your answer key. For cos 360, and then minus, and use your answer key. Okay, so sine, tan, and cos, all different things for that last step. You just need to remember 180 minus, 180 plus, 360 minus, and use that answer key. Saves you a step. Okay. For today, you shouldn't come up against anything that has a negative answer 1. Okay. That is the next lesson, is that I'll then show you, okay, that's all well and good, but what if answer 1 comes up as a negative? What do we do then? You shouldn't really come up against any of those for this one though. Okay.